Check out this hover animation from 9 Souls. It's simple, futuristic, super satisfying. I just finished the game and the UI stuck with me, especially the way the menu reacts when you hover over it. And since I'm not exactly great at UI design, I figured why not try recreating this as practice. Step 1. I need to build a menu with all the options. Then, I need to find a way to scale each label individually when hovered. And finally, done. That's the effect. The label scales up when you hover your mouse over it, and when you move to another one, that new label scales up while the previous one goes back to normal. Let's start by creating a new project. Then, I'll add a simple control scene to hold all our nodes. Main menu. The labels are arranged horizontally. Is it horizontal or vertical? Definitely not horizontal. They are arranged vertically. So, I can use a VBox container which will automatically align all its children vertically, saving me from the manual work. And now it's time to add labels. A label node just displays plain text. I'll reuse the same menu options from the game. Ta-da! Step 1 complete. Now I need a way to scale each label individually, but there's a problem. The transform properties of the labels are locked. Why? Because they are children of the container. If I scale the container, all the labels scale together, and that's not what I want. What if I wrap each label inside its own control node? That way, the label isn't a direct child of the VBox container, so I can scale it freely. Genius. Let's apply that to all labels. But wait, that didn't work as expected, and I know why. By default, a control node has no size. This thin orange line, that's its bounding box. If I click another one, I can see they are still vertically stacked, but the size of the control is smaller than the label. That's why they are overlapping. To fix this, I think I need to manually set the size of all control nodes according to the label size. That's a lot of work, and it may cause more complications later when scaling up the individual labels. Let's ditch this idea and also the VBox container. I can manually align the labels. Oh wow, even after deleting the VBox container, the labels are arranged properly. I had no idea about this. Let's animate these labels now. First things first, create a script for our scene, and before jumping into code, I'll tidy things up. Make main menu the parent and group all the labels under one control node. I'll call it options. This looks more structured. Now, if you hold control and drag a node into the script, Godot automatically creates a variable for it. It's a nice trick. Where t is to twin. I'll use twin class to animate our labels. It's a lightweight object to animate properties. Now, I need a way to know when the mouse enters the label area. Thankfully, to detect mouse hovers, Godot gives us signals like mouse entered and mouse exited. I can connect this to a function. T equals getTree.createTwin. This will create a twin for us to use. Not gonna lie, I forgot the exact syntax. No worries, I can copy it from the documentation and paste it here. But now I'm getting errors. Let's fix that. I call my twin T. Here I need my label node. Yoink it from here. Label, label. And I want to animate the scale property. I don't need these two lines. Scale value. Let's do it 1.5 for both x and y vectors. And at last, the duration of our animation. I'll keep it to 1 second for now. Will it work? Here's the moment of truth. Nah, it's not working. But why? The code looks fine. Print called. If I see called printed, then maybe I'm not twinning the node correctly. But nope, nothing. Turns out the mouse enter signal isn't firing. Why? I get it now. Let me check the mouse filter of our label. By default, it is set to ignore, which means the mouse events are ignored. Let's start by setting it to stop. It's working now. I should do the same for all the other labels. In the original animation, the scale effect is super quick. So I'll reduce the duration to 0.25 seconds. Much better. But there's a new problem. When the label scales up, the space between them shrinks and it doesn't look good. The original UI has more spacing, so scale labels don't overlap or feel too close. I could manually adjust the spacing, but no thanks. Instead, I'll bring the VBox container, add all labels inside it, and increase the separation value. Even after removing the container, the spacing remains. Nice little trick. But how do I do the same for all the labels? Like, if I hover the mouse on the another label, the last label should scale down and this one should scale up. I can create a variable for all the labels, or maybe a dictionary, and then manually connect each label signal to its separate function. But it's too repetitive and a lot of manual work. I need to find some other way. How to actually get the node which emitted the signal. Okay, so I can also connect a function to a signal through code by doing something like this. Let's disconnect this signal. Disconnect. Func ready. Where children equals options dot get children. This will get all the children from the options node which are our labels. Now I'll loop over them and then print them, just to be sure that I'm doing it right. Oh, we got 0 to 5 printed in the terminal, cause I'm printing the value of I. Anyway, at least I know that it works. I'm heading in the right direction. Children of I dot mouse enter dot connect on label mouse enter. Just to be sure it works, I'll print yeah when the function runs. So now, if I hover my mouse around the labels, I should see yeah printed. Yeah. Yeah, it's working. On label mouse enter dot bind. Using this, I can send arguments to the function. So let's pass children of I, which will be a label node. Now, our function takes a label variable, which is an object of a label class. And if I uncomment this code, it should work for all the labels. Let's see. Yup, every label is scaling up properly. Good. This is what I want. Now, I need a way to scale down the last label when the another label scales up. Where scaled label, which will be a label node, equals null. In the mouse entered function, I can do something like if scale label. We will scale it back down using tween. T dot. I'll simply copy paste it. Be more efficient. Scale label. Let's set it to 1. And at last, scale label equals label. I think I have recreated the effect successfully. Let's see. The moment of truth. Wow, it's working and it looks awesome. But I just found an issue. When I hover the mouse again on the scale label, it scales down and it starts doing this weird stuff. And I think this is happening because when I move the mouse out of the label, the scale label still holds its value due to this line. So when I hover over it again, it's already scaled up, causing no visible change. Then it scales down and this loop continues with the scale label value staying the same. To fix this, I can add one more condition like and scale label is not equal to the current label. Let's see if it works or not. It scales up and when I bring back the mouse again, it stays the same. It is working. But another thing, right now the scale down animation only runs after the new one finishes. Not good. I want both to run at the same time. T dot set underscore parallel. Much better, looks smoother. I'll reduce the animation duration to 0.1 seconds to make it feel as snappy as the original. Now, coloring time. The selected label has a bright shade of golden color and others have dark shade. And I feel like the opacity is little less too. How do I achieve that? First, I need to find the hex code of this color. image color picker. And I think this is the color that I need. Where color for selected label equals the hex code that I got from the image color picker site. For others, I'll use the same color but lower the opacity. But how do I change the color of the label? It must be in the theme or theme overrides. Color, font color. How do I do it through code? You come here. Dot add theme color override. Font color, and the color will be the color for selected label. And now, instead of changing the color of one label, I want the same for all the labels. Now they all should have same golden color. Yup, it's working. But I want this color only for the selected label. Maybe I should reduce the opacity somehow. I think I can do that by modulating it. It takes the color object. I don't wanna change red, green and blue values, so 1 for them, and the last one is alpha, that is opacity, so 0.6. Invalid non-existent function self-modulate in base label. Label.self-modulate. Oh, that is not a function, it's a variable. It works now. The first label looks darker due to low opacity. Children of I.self-modulate color. And now every label has low opacity. And in label mouse entered, I can tune the opacity too, so it gets brighter. 111 for the RGB, and alpha will be also 1 for the full opacity. And when the label scales back to the normal size, the opacity should go back to 0.6. Okay, what the heck is happening? Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and now two labels are highlighted. What is happening? When the mouse enters, the label is highlighted, but it doesn't get dark when it scales down. Let me see the code. The color values are correct. So why is this happening? I don't know why. I'll fix this later. 9 souls wallpaper. I like this one. I should use this. Dropping it on the texture rect node, which will display our image. It is so big. So let's set the scale to 0.3 and reset the position. It looks better, but the image is so bright. Changing the opacity might work. Let's reduce it more. I think this is better now. Pretty dark, so our menu items can be seen clearly. But these labels look so pixelated, it's not crisp, and this is not the font style that the original one uses. Identify font, and I should get the list of similar fonts. I think I'll go with this one, Antona Regular. Theme, override and fonts. And just drag it and drop it here. But this looks blurry. Adjusted oversampling to 4 and re-imported. Now it looks sharp. The one last thing that is remaining is the line before every label. So for that, I can simply type a line before the actual text and it may work. 1 done, 5 more remaining. But these look white in the editor. Instead of changing the color through code, I should just copy that color code and set the color through the inspector. Yeah, now they are golden. But not everyone should have full opacity, only the selected one. So the opacity of 0.6 should work. Let's see if everything works correctly. Fonts look sharp, but why the opacity is not working as it's supposed to? Turns out I can use modulate.a to just change the opacity. Self modulate.a. Now I don't need to worry about RGB values. 1 for selected label and 0.6 for the last label. But still it is not working, what the heck? Let's see. Oh, here I have set the modulate property and here I am twinning self-modulate property. Silly mistake. Same here, modulate, start game, okay, it is working, but only once. I think I am doing everything correctly, but why? Why is it not working? Let me try directly changing the value instead of animating. Label.modulate.a equals 1. Same goes here. label.modulate.a equals zero point 0.6. Still not working. Oh, I'm doing label.modulate. I'm so dumb. Twins are not the culprit here. And here, instead of label, I should do the selected label. Cause selected label stores the last selected label. And now it should work. Let's see. Yep, I made it work. It's working. Let me make few more minor adjustments like increasing the spacing between the labels. And here it is. This is mine versus the original one. I think I did a pretty good job here. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments.